till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Pregaming here on Sports Money. Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. You know what happens here. We all put our heads together, looking at this card, grinding on it all day, trying to figure out how we're going to get paid. And then we all assemble here. We give our best bets. We talk about our strategy to go to the window and cash those tickets. And that's what we're going to do tonight, you guys. Already off to a good start. The premium play of the day goes at minus 105, and it cashes. We had a little Juventus, whatever, Ventus, under 3.5. We parlayed it with a Spanish soccer play. And I'm now 4-1 in the last 5 on those premium plays. We're up, let's see, 3.3. We lost 1.2. And then we won 3. So 6.3, 5.1. How about that for the math on the fly with a foggy brain? 5.1 units in the last 5 days with these premium plays. Are you a silver or gold member? I know several of you are. Lots to remind you guys about tonight, and then we will get to the card. We've got ourselves a smaller slate kind of across the board, which is advantageous because we've got a big stream tonight for the NFL Super Bowl. We'll be joined with Fanatical Jim, the author, the originator of the 2-minute prop. We'll see if he's got a 2-minute prop for us tonight. We've got MMA Jeff coming in. You know he's an Eagles guy. He's a Bills guy. But he's going to have some props. He's got some sides and totals. You know what he's going to be involved with. And, of course, I'll be there running and gunning. We'll have Jover. Joe T's going to be there to talk to us about his favorite over spots. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got Ramon Scott coming through with a bunch. He's got, I think, a 6-pack of player prop plays. I've got a same game parlay. I've got a teaser. I've got a side. I've got two, so far 2, maybe 3. Maybe it's 3 plays, 3 standalone player props that are all over plus 250. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun show. But that means we get a shorter card tonight, I guess. I'm not sure I understand the strategy or theory, but we'll have 1,000 games tomorrow between college basketball, the NHL, the NBA, trying to get it in there before the 4 Nations tournament starts. I don't know why everyone's hating on that thing, man. That's pretty cool. You know, you hear the strategy. Well, what if a player gets hurt? When they were doing the Olympics in midseason, there was a guy that got hurt. Yeah, it sucked. But it's such an anomaly. You can't play the game to say, what if you get hurt? You go out there and you play the game. That's the way you do it. So the 4 Nations Cup means there's only, 2 days left of the NHL? Okay. We'll deal with that if we have to, but we'll have some 4 Nations plays going on. Then we go to college hoops. We've got the Philadelphia Flyers. We've got the Pittsburgh Penguins Rangers. We've got the Islanders and Jets. We've got Dallas and the Kings. That's the 3-pack we've got for action tonight in the NHL. I may toss a parlay out there at you guys. I may toss a parlay. 2 spots in college hoops. It's like a 5-game college hoops card. What a bunch of junk. We got 165 games tomorrow. You couldn't come off of more than a 5-pack. And they're like tight lines, tough matchups, man, tough matchups. But we will attack VCU and Dayton. We will attack St. Louis and St. Joseph's. The battle of the Saints. Sainthood is on the line in that one. And then we've got 3 NBA games. We'll cover Milwaukee, Atlanta. We'll go Philly, Detroit. We'll bring her home with Miami and the Nets. I think I got a player prop. I mean, I know I've got a player prop. I just played it. I think I'm going to give one out. And, some of you guys had asked about the salami tonight. The Grand Salami cashed again for us last night. Just a little 2-0 since we went through the calculation. I told you that thing works. I told you it works. Now, clearly, you want to have a larger sample of games to stretch out and iron out the anomalies out there. Like a game going 6-3 and screwing it up if there's only 3 games on the card, your under is toast. Tonight's salami's, man, my throat. Tonight's salami's at 29.5, and it's plus 101. Now the calculation says 27.5. 5 games, 5.5 is the puck line or the total goal line that we use. That gives us 27.5. And we got a 29.5. So you should probably consider the under again in that game. And it's under season. We talked about that before anybody else in the NHL. So you may want to consider that. But look, we netted a little bit of small profit yesterday, a day in the black. What went well? What went wrong? Well, the Houston Rockets blowing that lead went wrong for us. Good thing we double dipped and took the first half. You know, and it's funny because I talked about, where was the game that I talked about the nickel equation on? That doesn't matter. I gave you guys the premium play. Now, yesterday's premium play was given out to everybody, all bronze, silver, and gold level members. So those of you that haven't upgraded yet did catch that NCAA College of Charleston under 150.5. Double down on it. Gave it out here on the show at 155.5. They ended with 129 points. That's how you become a premium play. So that was a great W. Ohio State with a monster comeback. I know it seemed like everybody was on them. And in fact, the public was hammering Maryland. Maryland gets off to the big start. Some big plus 250s and 350 lines out there if you believe in Ohio State like I did, and they cashed. Let's see. What else? Liberty. Cash for us as well at minus 7.5. They blew them boys out. 24 points. Busted them up. Then we turn to the NHL, and the Devils and Vegas game goes under 5.5 easy for us. Columbus blows it in overtime. That was a heartbreaker. Plus 136. Columbus blows it in overtime. Carolina loses in regulation. Just flat out blew the game. Then we look over there, and the over 5.5 in the Vancouver San Jose game did not come to fruition for us. Disappointing. And the NBA was pretty much a split bag. We cashed the first half in Houston. They blew the full game. Yeah, they were tied. Weren't they tied? No, it was 71-66. They were up at halftime. They were up at halftime by a 5-pack. And then they lose the game by 13 points. Shout out to anybody that did have the Minnesota Timberwolves there. That was clearly the right side. And after that big 11.5 point favorite win, I thought, man, they might be a little gassy. We did cash the Trailblazers plus 1. They won that game outright, 108-102. That was sweaty, but they got it there for us. 11 straight wins now for the Trailblazers, so we'll keep riding the Trailblazers until they buck. And then the Clippers, minus 4.5. Clippers got busted up by a 7-pack to the Pacers. There goes that bounce back trend. So that was the day. That was the day that was yesterday. Fun live stream. Hopefully you guys got to check us out on Kick. Somebody had asked if that's going to be the new platform for the live streams. No. We just like to do things a little bit differently sometimes. And Thursdays are a fine time for that there. We get the crew together and a little more low-key with the NBA and the NHL popping off, but we get to watch games. It solves the sync problem. Albeit YouTube doesn't feel the same way. You'll notice on today's graphics, look, the Washington Capitals have earned themselves off that list. They've been winning. They're cranking. They're first place. And they're just dominating. They're playing well. They got gold. We've been cashing. More totals than sites, but we've been cashing with them. However, it seemed only right that the Kansas City Chiefs make their way to the shit list. And so they're there. Proudly. Look at that arrowhead. Looks a little rusty, crooked. Looks just tired. Just looks tired. Sleepy. It's a sleepy little Kansas City arrowhead. But anyways, you guys, we got to get to work. So you know the deal. Get this thumbs up button going there. This is where you can help us grow the show, grow the channel, grow the platform. We are looking for you guys to smash that thumbs up button for us. That helps YouTube know to promote us. There's people here. There's actually people here. They're actually watching. They actually like what they're seeing. And you do that by closing the chat. You'll see the little thumbs up. You smash it. Then you pop the chat back open and we'll go to work. How's that sound? How about that for a deal? Let's make a deal. That's the deal. Thank you guys for the help. Okay, as a reminder, we do have Super Bowl Square contest. The way that will work is upgraded members, silver and gold members will get an entry. Anybody that's gifted a dono, I've got a list this week. That's $5 a month will be part of the process as well. And still plenty of squares left. So we'll be giving away merch. We'll be giving away some gear, some memberships, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff for the Super Bowl Squares sports money contest. And we've got other things to talk about as well. So we will get there, but you know the deal. Now is the time to commence the butt rubbing, as they say. Before I even do that, how can I not acknowledge? I got to acknowledge this. All right. That's like the San Francisco 49ers a couple seasons ago. All right, you guys. You know the deal. Get your pens and paper ready. Going to want to write down the best in the business and what they do and what they have to say to get you paid. Games throughout the evening. Some of them might be even look-aheads. Best bets ready to roll. They've been marinating on the card all day. They're here to share their action. All you got to do is write it down. And of course, if you could take the time to put your favorites, your best bets in the chat, I will do my best to call out your best bets so we can all get paid and get to the window. And it's only right. Commenter numero uno, Joti Jover, says Predators Blackhawks first period over 1.5. He's going back to the train. It had like 16 straight wins or something with 16-2. They lost that the other night against Edmonton. We had the plus 1.5. And now he's going to the over again. He's rolling back to it. I thought about it. Every time I say that, I think of that Eminem song. You guys know what I'm talking about. I don't even want to say it. I don't even know if you can say it anymore. Some of those lyrics. Woo! And the way I would think about playing this thing is the first period, both teams to score. Nashville's running themselves hot in the first period. I want to say they were 15-3 to the over or something like that. And of course, Chicago, we know what their deal is here. Both teams for over a half a goal are minus 230 for the Nashville Predators, minus 145 for the Chicago Blackhawks. Man, I don't know what's going on. Well, what's going on? Is it allergy season? It seems like it's awfully cold to have allergies. Both teams to score in the first period is plus 150. Both teams to score in the first period plus 150. Guess I'm going to have to make that a play. Make a note for myself. All right. That's a juicy little bomb out there, plus 150. Why not? Why not? Okay. Just as I do that, my screen refreshes and okay. Joe Jones. What's up, player? He's here. He says best bet Princeton minus 7.5. Best bet 6-3. Yes, sir. I did tell you. I did tell last night the UMBC first half minus 4. And then they lost outright. I saw that too, dude. I was like, man, I like that Princeton spot. I do. You know, I've been on the Ivy overs. Feel like now it's getting a little too late though. You know, now that you hear everybody else talking about him, you know the deal. Once everyone starts talking. Textiles in the house is interested in how we see Johnnies versus Huskies today. I think you could probably play the entire card in every spot in every sport under, with the exception of one spot tonight, and you probably come out profitable. If that indicates how I feel about that Johnny's Huskies game. Shout out to Nicholas Handy. Joe Dub's in the house. J-Dub. Joe Dub, J-Dub. Trying to get as much information in before I put in my bets. Let's go, my friend. You are at the right place. Irish King says, Mikey, Rick J in the house. It's got a San Jose State player. Over 14.5 points. Over 1.5 threes. Udije is that? I believe it's, I don't know. Shut the Markel. Rick Chase is hoping books odds Davis from St. John's to props. Who's been shooting? I wanted to get on St. John's. Or I'm sorry, San Jose State. The problem I had is they lost that last game, so it is a revenge situation, but man, they shot damn near the lights out of the place and they still lost. And so I had to take them off. I had to take them off the list today. Couldn't get there. Nasty Nate says the Eagles are going to smash. Those are things that we like to hear. Irish King says the KCW for the three-peat. I don't think so. But we are all entitled to our own opinion. It'll be fun to talk with the boys tonight about this. Stop Gio's got Collier over 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Last game, this cash too easy. Try. No Sexton. No Clarkson. He's got the minutes. He's got the points. He's got the numbers. Those are the things we like to see. Say Collier. Collier. I write that down. You make the compelling case for me. I will take note. I will take note. Okay. Let's go, you guys. I appreciate everybody rocking. Rick Chase's Eagles over 1.5 roughing the passer calls. And Irish King says Mahomes proved he can play well. He's injured. Yep, Bo Jackson said it. You know, I'm glad you reminded me, Bo, because we did give this out on the show back in October. We gave it out on the show back in October. It was 14-1. Josh Allen, MVP, baby. Yes, sir. Not many future bets out there, but we did talk about it. We did lay the groundwork. Now, by the way, we do have a future bet out there in the NHL. We do have a future bet out there in the NHL. We don't do these very often, but it is the Nashville Predators to win the Stanley Cup. We'll see. If you look today, big trade was made. Nashville's acquiring players. They're in win now mode. They are rolling the chips to the center of the table, and they are hoping to smash that Stanley Cup and pick up the dub. Irish King over 9.5 flag calls. Bo Jackson says Columbus broke my heart. And Saquon over 5 touchdowns called back by the refs. So one of the props tonight was the birthday boy to get 5+ touchdowns, and it's like 150,000 to 1 or something stupid. I thought about it. And I realized I don't think there's any way that dude's going to. I actually sat there for a minute and I thought, all right, well, let me see if there's what's the game script for Saquon Barkley to get 5 touchdowns? And thought about it for about another 30 seconds. And then I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? There's other sports to cap tonight. Damon Waring's in the house. What's up? AOD's here. Fernando Mendoza coming through. You know I like to get involved. Well, I love my Mexican soccer, both teams to score and an over. Let's go. Necaxa Laguna. Okay. Did you see the Bet365 Swifty specials? I did not. I saw that there's a special out there that Kelsey's mama will have some cleavage showing. It was priced at like, I don't know. I didn't want to think about that one for more than a second either. Top Geo Engineer says Jets looking to keep their 7-game win streak going tonight. Bo Jackson says Hawks look like they can upset tonight. I saw that. Any QB with a reception, 19-1. You guys are ready, man. I'm fired up for it. Ice Vikings in the house. What up? So they bet your same game parlay yesterday for Columbus, Utah, plus 400. Get a cash. Shout out to you, Ice Viking. Thank you. Thank you for. Hey, sometimes it's just because it didn't make my card doesn't mean it shouldn't be on yours. And sometimes I play them anyways. You guys are ready. Bring all of these props in for the big game tonight. Big show tonight. Damon Waring says San Francisco Dons money line. Yeah, man, they lost that first half. They came back and dominated that game. Thomas Maggio's in the house. His bets are the Sixers -4 and the money line, and OKC -19.5. Fox over 13.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Dayton +1.5, and St. Joe's -6. Thomas says Sixers smash spot. St. John's, but no bet in New York. Shout out to Subhuman Gaucho. I'm using the offshore. I gave Subhuman Gaucho a soccer goal scoring prop today. It cashed. It cashed. Barry's in the house. Ron Young's here, ready to go. Yeah. Yep. Irish King. Yeah, you got it. You got it. I mean, that's why we look at line movement. There's Trans Canada. There's Trans Canada. It's good to see my friend Trans Canada back here. Textile says J-Man gave that Siakam plus 19.5 last night, cashed in the first half. Yes, sir. Gerald Jones, 3-day weekend, and cheers. Rick Chase, does anyone know if Dayton point guard Malachi Smith is playing tonight? He's been sick. Stern Company says, don't forget, Saquon has never played KC. Huh. I mean, there's two birthday boys. Here's this. I'm going to save it. All right, I got to save this. Let's get to this card. And then we can go from there, and we'll talk about some Super Bowl props and all that fun stuff tonight. You guys are ready to roll, man. I think that's great. I'm fired up for it. I know you guys are fired up for it. Okay, let's make some moves. Let's get this first game under our belts. Where'd it go? There it is. The Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Rangers. All right, so I'll give you guys the player. I'll add this player prop. It's fucking square, but it's what you got to do because we know the deal with Pittsburgh. They're a mash unit, and they're aging. They're an aging mash unit, which means they don't recover quite as fast. But Raquel has a shot on goal opportunity out there. He's on the top center line. Sidney Crosby's out. You can hear the tone of my voice, just how excited I am. Malkin's out. Crosby's out. Raquel going to be the top line guy. He'll be replacing Crosby. So essentially he'll be the Sidney Crosby of this Pittsburgh Penguins squad, which is going to be problematic for these boys. And the Rangers, look, they don't play great defense, and they got rid of Trouba, so things don't get any better. They're allowing 61.39 total shot attempts per 60 minutes in 5-on-5 situations. That's 10th worst in the NHL. Player number 1, Raquel, over 2.5 shots on goal. I wasn't going to do this, but I was talking last night on the live stream. I think I'm 14-1 in the last. I lost one of those. I lost the last prop last night with Cheadle. I hadn't lost a fucking prop in the NHL since January 18th, so I didn't realize it until I started looking back at some of them. Not playing them every day, but went 3-1 last night for a 4-piece. So I feel a little better about giving these out, even though this one is, I think, square. The other guy I'm jumping in here is Philip Forsberg. Philippe, we talked about him before. First of all, he owns the Chicago Blackhawks. He is a high volume shooter. I think he got 6 the other day. 7 shots on goal in each game in the last 4 against the Chicago Blackhawks. He finds himself in that position. He's had at least 5 shots on goal in 3 of his last 4 games. And it's not just an anomaly. This is what he does. Top 10 in the league in shooting. We've talked about it. We got a couple of guys that in the starting lineup. Maybe the starting lineup has to be a mash of the two teams because there's only like so many guys that you just want to keep firing on. Keep firing. And Philippe Forsberg is that guy. 49 shots on goal in 10 games. Can you fucking believe that? 49 shots on goal in 10 games. Chicago allowed 62.64 shots attempt per 60 minutes. Should be a Philippe Forsberg spot. So I parlay that on DraftKings. I got a line for you too. Hang on, let me pull it up. Plus 212. Plus 212 for those dudes. Over 3.5 shots on goal for Philippe. Over 2.5 shots on goal for Raquel. Plus 212 on. I didn't shop it. I just punched it in. Just fuck it. Let's move on to the next game. But that being said, the Penguins and the Rangers will battle. Rangers are starting to figure it out. Playoff teams be lurking, and they got Shesterkin back in here. Nedeljkovic will go on the other side for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Nedeljkovic's got a .297 goals against average and an 89.9% save rate. 5th straight start for Nedeljkovic. 2 or fewer goals in 6 of his last 7. They are 4-2-1 in that stretch, which is amazing because there's no Malkin, no Crosby. Defense is beaten, battered, and tattered. And they're still finding a way to win games. Not going to go juice bomb. Not going to go out there and play this this New York Rangers side of things. I think they do win this game. You know, I got a love-hate relationship with Pittsburgh. Anytime I love a bet and Pittsburgh's on there, I hate the result. So I'm very skeptical of the Rangers at minus 205. No. Minus 1.5 at plus 128. Can they go out there and win by margin with a goalie that's been heating up? That in 2 goals a game? Shesterkin, 286 goals against average, 90.6% save percentage. Rangers have picked up back-to-back wins. They're going to keep it going with Shesterkin. He only saved 15 pucks on 17 shots in that Boston Bruins game. So they're going to keep it going with this guy, but you know, I can't imagine a situation where they fall in trouble here with this other side of the puck not being, or the other team being down everybody. I mean, there's no question. It's rhetorical. Sidney Crosby or Raquel, who would you rather have, right? Shesterkin has been inconsistent. We talked about this the last game as well. 4 more goals in 3 straight games. And there's an 0-3 spot in that stretch. So, how can you? I can't. I'll tell you what I did. I took the under 6. I got it at minus 111. The under 6 in this game at minus 111. I've got the team total under for Pittsburgh at under 2.5 at minus 125. The Rangers are 9-0 at home when they have a rest disadvantage and scored less than 4 goals their previous game. So despite the woes in scoring and lack of offense, they do come in with a 9-0 trend. However, the total has a nice 7-0 streak going to it. Rangers at home, total's greater than a 5.5. The team they're playing is averaging more than 3.2 penalties a game. That tells me that the team they're playing gets chippy because they're down and they go to the box. And then the Rangers just maintain possession, cycle that puck around until they find the open spot and they fire it in and score. And that's probably their path to victory. I hate the Rangers, so it doesn't matter to me what their path to victory. And I don't like the Penguins either. I shouldn't say. I guess if I hate them, I don't know. If I hate's a strong word. Hate's a strong word. I hate the Carolina Hurricanes. I just don't like these 2 teams. Is probably the best way to say it. But I'm on the under 6 and the team total under 2.5. We'll ride this thing. I mean, and then of course the player prop parlay. It makes a lot of sense to fire all those together. Game number 2. So double dipping to open this thing up. I wish we had our double dip graphic. Fernando Mendoza says Brian Rust under 2.5 shots on goal. I like that, but I saw somewhere that he might be a goal scoring candidate tonight. Ice Vikings, yeah, yeah, dude. Look at this. It says if you were wondering your same game parlay, no, I remember we talked about it. Remember I said I was like, if you want an alternative, yeah, Columbus plus 1.5, Merzlikins over 24.5. So, dude, my fucking player props have been fired. Now, you know, it's one thing to give them out. It's another thing to push the button. JW says, I really don't care about Super Bowl shit on Friday. Yeah, well, we're going to give the show, and then anybody can go back and watch it. That's why we're going to parlay that into this thing here. Irish King says, Rangers, Panarin. Yep. Anders Lee. Nashville minus 1.5. Forsberger, Stamkos. All right. Kelly V likes the Rangers in red. Yeah, the Ohio State. South Florida over. Yeah, Fairfield, Drexel. Yeah, it was I think it was a 25-unit night for me last night. And then here I come on the show and we're in the black. Yeah, it happens. Damon says I might be reaching, but Washington Wizards first quarter and money line. They're on a 3-game winning streak. Worth a shot. No, I don't like the New York Rangers. They are almost a hate candidate, Kelly V, because every single time the season comes to an end, the Flyers and the Rangers are battling for a wild card position. Or back before the wild card, it was the 8th spot. So, yeah, of course, man. Thanks, dude. I can't believe some people do that. Some people, I caught a show the other day where they don't do that. They made the rule. If you give out a best bet on the show and you didn't play it, you can't come back. I thought that was ridiculous. All right, Winnipeg Jets and the New York Islanders. Sorokin will start for the Islanders. Hellebuck going out there for the Winnipeg Jets, and he is back to that form, and the Jets are back to firing, scaring the shit out of everybody. And Hellebuck gets some rest out there because they did just have a shutout. It was 3-0, and it was Eric Comrie that plays Tuesday against the Carolina Hurricanes. Hellebuck's firing 2.04 goals against average, 92.5% save percentage, 6 league high 6 shutouts. Islanders, 8 of their last 9 have found the victory column, and Sorokin will go out there with a 2.66 goals against average, a 91 save percentage. They're playing hot, and he's playing well. 33 of 34 saves in that big 2-1 win against the Vegas Golden Knights. 2 shutouts in his last 9 games. The under makes a lot of sense. It sure does. One of the things that one of the scariest teams in the NHL when they have the rest advantage at home are the Winnipeg Jets. It's a shit travel spot. No disrespect to anybody that's in Winnipeg, but yeah, it's like trying to get to Nebraska from Rochester. I got to take like 8 planes, 2 trains, fucking bus. And that's the way it is to get to Winnipeg. And so if you're the Islanders and you're traveling on top of everything else, you're going north of the border, you got to deal with customs. Yeah, you're running hot. You got a nice little win streak going here, but the Jets are 13-0 when they're in the favorite day with multiple days rest. 13-0. It scares the shit out of everybody in the NHL. The Islanders are a low-scoring team. We know that. I think Winnipeg can find just enough to get on top of this thing and pull this game out. I took them in regulation, and I got him at minus 115. Side note for the regulation plays. When they're minus 140 or higher, or they're even money or better, I feel like those are losers. But I feel like this is that sweet spot, minus 115, where we can take advantage of this number. Looks like it's coming down a little bit, though. So, this game will pop off at 8. You have plenty of time. Minus 166 where the line opened up. It's gone to 183. All the money's pouring in on the over. It is juiced to the under. Winnipeg in the under, not a bad look in this game either. Last game we've got in the NHL, we'll go to Dallas and LA. I talked about the rest advantage and beating teams up when they're at home are the Winnipeg Jets. The Kings ain't no slouches at home. They are no slouches at home. What they're doing, side note, before I get to this game, I'm betting the Colorado Avalanche. I'm not giving it out to you guys as a favorite. I'm just telling you I'm betting it. So do with that information what you will. I don't like the Trent Miner. I don't know. I don't like that he's the guy. But there's way too much money on the line there. What's the plus 160s I saw? Plus 165s for the Colorado Avalanche? The Oilers are on a 2-game winning streak. But man, look what they did against Chicago. They barely won that game, 3-2. Everybody got hosed in that thing. Skinner, 20 of 22 shots. They had a 3-2 game against St. Louis in overtime. I take my luck. I take my chances with Colorado. I don't care who's in net. And that kind of brings us to this LA Kings-Dallas game because we got Red Light Rittich in net. David Rittich, 10-11 with a 2.7 goals against average, 88.3% save percentage for the LA Kings. Jake Ottinger for the Dallas Stars. Rivaling, competing, trying to catch up to Hellebuck from a goaltending perspective. 2.35 goals against average, 91% save percentage, and an impressive 25-12 record. I told you a week ago, something not right with this Dallas Stars team. Now, they happened to win that game. Then they made some trades, and, we took Vancouver because something wasn't right with that Dallas team, and they've been open about it in the locker room. There's shit going on. These guys I don't know what's going on. It's not like the time with the Flyers where they had to get rid of everybody after they made that Stanley Cup run because the one guy was sleeping with the other guy's wife, and then they had drug problems and everything else that was going on. You can look that up. That's a true story. But they got some personnel issues going on. They're not gelling. They got some chemistry issues flopping around out there. Now, we took Vancouver, and the big F stick that we took on that one had to do with the fact that JT Miller had just gotten traded away that day. It was after the show was done that they traded that dude. And so everyone's scrambling at the last minute trying to figure out what the replacement's going to look like, and we took it out. All of that build up to talk about validation that something's not right. They just lost to Anaheim 2-1. They did have a 5-game winning streak going, so somewhere in between there lies the truth. Funny how that worked out. Odger's been playing well. He's got 3 or fewer goals in 9 straight games, and that's how you go 6-3. He's got the buy sign. He's 92.5% save percentage. Man, this one's got the under 5.5 written all over it. But you know the deal. I talked about not taking these under 5.5s with the LA Kings anymore because it's just 4-2 game. It's a 4-2 final. It's a 4-2 final, and Los Angeles wins the game. Yeah. Kings got themselves a little 2-game win streak. They're also on the front end of the back-to-back, and we talked about how important it is for the teams of the NHL, especially at home, to go on that first game of the back-to-back and strike. Rittich is fresh. He's only played twice in 11 games. And he plays well against the Stars. 26 of 28 saves. So they're not punting by throwing Rittich in goal here. He did come up with a 3-2 victory in that game. So there's a little bit of a revenge factor. But I'm fading this Dallas team right now. It's not comfortable. Look, Kings, less than a minus 190 favorite. At home, riding a perfect 10-0 hot hand. They're beating teams up. They're taking names. They're in a position. They got to stay competitive in this Western Conference if they want to make some moves. And the line's going to come down on both sides. 58% of the bets and 70% of the cash are on the Stars. It went from minus 110 to minus 107. So this line's been a pick 'em effectively all day. I mean, at the end of the day, 16-4 are the LA Kings at home. I got to look and see. That might be the best. 16-4. That might be the best record in the NHL. It's good enough for me. I'm going to jump in on these Kings. Dallas on the road. Dallas at home is a problem for teams. They're an overtime team. They're an under team. 27-1 at home they are. 20-7, not 27. 20-7-1 at home. They're 14-11 on the road. So I'll fade their asses on the road against the best home team out there at a nice price tag on top of it. Yeah. We got a 2-game win streak going on. Rittich plays well against the Stars. It's a sneaky little matchup. I really like the under. I don't think I can bet the unders anymore. I don't think I can do it anymore with the Kings. How many times do you lose before you say enough? Jamie says, don't threaten me with a good time. Oh, man. Ken Mizrahi. What's up, Ken? Avs game over is the play in the Avs game. I don't disagree with that either. The Avs, though, they started off the season. Everyone was talking about them being an over team. They're overs. Not so much lately. They got themselves a nice little under trend rolling. Shout out to Trisha M. Says TGIF, skipped the butt rub tonight, but looking forward to the Super Bowl show. Best of luck, chatters. Trisha M. Getting yourself a Super Bowl square for that $4.99 dono. Bo Jackson. I love you guys, man. You guys come in. You guys are rocking. I love it. We all work together. Win, lose, or draw. It's still a ton of fun. It's more fun when we win money, but I love you guys being ready to go. Thank you for coming in. Jacked up. Let's go to the college basketball. Let's keep it moving. Got to finish this. Got to finish up. We got to start up. Got to start up this NFL show. I found a cool program that can help me randomize the numbers for the squares too. So that's cool. It's fun. What am I looking for? College basketball. All right. Shit card. Really? I mean, Princeton in the over. Yeah. I like the under in this Purdue game. I think that's too many points. I bet you USC's a live dog. 13. St. John's and UConn. I like the under in that one. This thing's gone up. 61% of the bets, 62% of the cash. I think Boise State's going to beat the bricks out of San Jose State. There are some big numbers. This is where I was telling you guys. I was conflicted. I'm going to go through a couple of these real fast because not a lot of games out there. So at least, I looked at them all. I got some notes on pretty much all of them. San Jose State 18-1 against the spread in their last 19 games. They're 5-2 straight up in their last 7 overall. They've covered in 9 straight games. They're 7-0 as a dog of more than 9 points. They have not lost any game by more than 14 points in those spots. They shot the lights out and they lost. I don't know if I can go back to San Jose State. I want to. I'm not going to. VCU and Dayton, I might. We'll see how many points it gets to. We'll see what the point line looks like here. I mean, it's been 14.5. It's coming down a little, I guess. But here's the deal. 33% of the bets on Boise State, 55% of the cash on Boise State. There's that 22% differential. Bigger bettors, respected bettors banging on Boise State. VCU and Dayton pops off at 7 p.m. We got a reversal of fortunes here. VCU opened as a -1.5. They've moved to a +1.5. 64% of the bets, 70% of the cash are on Dayton. When we get this tight, we got to look at the money line. So here's the difference, right? The money line had VCU open up as a -125 favorite, dollar quarter. It's moved to a $1.10. Why? Because 49% of the bets, but 64% of the cash have taken Dayton. I think you got to take Dayton. I looked at the total. 55% of the bets, 56% of the cash are on the over. This number sat pretty damn firm all day long. I told you before, when it comes to these, A10 squads, particularly, but these programs as well, to me. Now, I like VCU on the road to the under. When VCU's in the dog roll, they're 0-2 to the under. They're not dogs often. They pivoted to this dog spot tonight. When Dayton is in the favorite role, they are 7-10 to the under. I'm sorry. I blew that. Sorry. Excuse me. When their favorites, Dayton is 11-6 to the under. And their court at home plays fast, 10-5 to the over. All of that being considered, they are 9-0 at home with less than 6 days rest off a game of 4+ point favorite. Rested as they were 10-point favorites. They didn't cover, but they have gone under in 3 straight games. On the flip side of things, VCU has gone over in 3 straight games. And here's how I looked at this one. I know we got this over trend for Dayton with this less than rest situation. But when the favorite covers, it goes under. This thing has moved to Dayton being in that favorite role. They're 9-0. The way I see their path to victory has to be play some defensive ball. Slow it down. You don't want to get in a shootout with a team like VCU because they're so dangerous. They beat up LaSalle 96-66 the other day, 3 days ago. They nuked them by 30. They toasted Richmond by a 50-pack. 41. And then they beat Bonaventure by 14 as 12.5-point favorite. So you can't let them gun. This game needs to be like 69-65 type of situation. And even then, it's going to be a little bit sweaty. But I am taking the under in this one. The under for me in this A10 special. I know I'm fading away. That's why I said today, I think you could, all but one game, you'd play the unders. I got under, what did I get the under? 138.5. 138.5 on that under. Okay, let's move on. Onward, upward. St. Joe's and St. Louis. Battle of Sainthood, as I had mentioned. This one will stretch out a little bit later in the night as well. So we'll get this one at 9 p.m. We'll be underway with the football show. St. Louis, 87% of the bets, 84% of the cash. Recency bias, I do imagine recency bias out there. They are 8-0 straight up, 7-0-1 against the spread in their last 8 home games. I'm sorry. In their last 8 games against St. Joe's. They beat them January 3rd, 73-57. So So there's a little revenge opportunity here for St. Joe's. And 87% of the bets, 84% of the cash are on St. Louis. It's gone from 4.5 to 6.5. The totals moved 2 points from 144.5 to 146.5. 74% of the bets and 73% of the cash are on the under. It has moved to the Jover. Not enough for me, though. St. Louis, in their last 16 games, their key to victory has been defense. 14-2 to the under. They're going under their total in regular games here, their last 16 spot, by almost 11 points a spot. Part of the reason? They shoot poorly from three. Less than 27%. 7 of the games that they played in that 16-game sample I just gave you have gone under by over 9 points a game. I think it's a sneaky little Friday spot. I still think to myself sometimes when our man Billy Briz dropped it out there and was like, public gets paid on Fridays and they go to the books on Fridays and the books clean up because what does the public want to do? They want to play overs. I think we see this can go under the number. I think, 146.5 is the number I got for it. Thomas Maggio, like St. Joe's -6. I like that. Shout out to Leonard Porsche. What's up, brother? It's good to see you. Rick Chase says we lost on VCU when they were -3.5. Thomas Maggio. Dude, I used to never be a totals guy. Never. I used to stay as far fuck away as I could. These days. Shout out to Gerald Jones getting that new membership going. I hope he's talking about us here. I hope you're talking about us. Peter says the show has entertainment value too. Hopefully that's us. All right. That's it. College hoops. I fired off a bunch of other spots that I do like that I'll have some plays on. It's just not fucking 100. We'll have 160 games tomorrow, And the worst part is because there's so much going on tomorrow, I'll probably have 15, 20. I'll probably end up with a 15, 20 pack in college basketball. It's tough. Tough gets expensive. Not so much expensive as it is just laying it out there. Okay, Bucks and Hawks. We'll move quickly through the NBA to get you guys going so I can get going. Get ready for the 8:30. Get your cocktails ready. Yeah, we're going to be cocktailing on screen. You know that. You know what we do. But we're going to be talking. We got a bunch of fun stuff to go over. So the Bucks and the Hawks popping off here. 238.5 on the totals, gone to 239. 61% of the bet, 66% of the cash on the over. And that's moved up a half a point. The totals moved from -5.5 to -3.5. I believe that is Giannis related news. 57% of the bets and 60% of the cash are on the Hawks. What's going on my computer? Here's a last minute gift idea. I could use a mega powerful computer. If anybody's in the know of what that looks like, I'm going to do a lot of research to figure it out. Bucks are going to be on there. Bucks are in that shit schedule spot, bottom line. And I think this is where they gas out. You had games on the road. They finish up with Portland and the Spurs. Then they go back home for that one game against Memphis. They lost outright as 4-point favorites. Then they go right back on the road. They get busted up by OKC. They get busted up by Charlotte as 10.5-point favorites. They lose to Charlotte by 10 points. And what do we know about the Hawks? Defense has been optional. Not even optional. They just don't play it. They've got themselves 4 straight overs, some of the highest numbers on the board. We've been having success with it. By the way, when they're at home, they go over. 10-0 to the over at home when they're playing a rested opponent that scored less than 110 points the last time they met. That is this Bucks team. They are in this 10-0 spot with the Hawks. Clint Capella's out. Terrence Mann's out. Jalen Johnson out for the season, of course. But look, Bobby Portis is doubtful. Gary Trent is probable. Giannis is out. Porter's out. I don't think it matters. I still think we can see points. I think it's the fact that the Hawks will dictate this tempo. And they want to come out there and sneak a win. They've gone 1-4 in their last 5 as well. We'll try that 10-0. Get ourselves some total action here. I got 242.5. 242.5 at -108. So that is on the creep. You can follow my action at BetStamp. Mikey money on BetStamp. You can see my action. You can see my record. You don't want to miss out on those afternoon specials, aka the Italian and Spanish soccer parlay that cashed at a minus 105 for us. Minus 105. The Sixers and the Pistons on the horn, rolling. The Sixers, the Hot City Theory. Here we go. You know these boys are fired up. You know they got big Super Bowl plans. They know half those dudes probably. I don't know. For the Eagles, right? I don't know. 2.5s moved to 5s. Woo! Big movement. 53% of the bets and 53% of the cash. This is a fun little trend I got for you guys with this one. 223.5s moved to 227.5, even some 228.5s with 82% of the bets and 82% of the cash on the over. The Jover. Somehow, despite all the odds, and maybe it has to do with the Hot City Theory. KV reminded me of the Hot City Theory. But they are 1-3 in their last 4. They just had a massive homestand, so this will be their first game on the road. They had a 5-gamer. They beat Sacramento, and then they lost to Denver and Boston. They covered against both those teams, though. They got beat up by Dallas. Fucked up. I don't know. Still don't know how that happened. 118, 116. Laying a 4-pack. They won, but they didn't cover. 108, 101 against Miami. Laying a 2. And now here we go. Cade Cunningham is questionable. I expect he'll play. He wasn't in pregame warmups, from my understanding on the latest beat reporter. And maybe that's a little bit of what's going on with this number. Quentin Grimes on the other side of things. Everybody looks like they're a go for the most part with the Sixers. The 4-5-7 Sixers. Or is it the 9-8-7 Sixers? I don't know. Anyhow, listen. We got intersecting zeros. That's what's most important here. The fun little spot. How about Cade Cunningham? What happens after he goes to the free throw line 10 times or more? He's carrying the team. They lose. 0-10. I snuck that one out there for you guys. Not only are they losing, they're losing by over 15 points a game. To me, that says it's a little overcompensation. You know, remember how the NBA had to get the review report afterwards? They had to talk about the plays and the calls that they missed and shit like that. I forgot what they called it. But anyways, they were dirty. And so what happens now when I look at this trend is I think, okay, if the star player in Cade Cunningham gets to go to the free throw line 10 or more times, one, he's pretty aggressive in that game, or he's pretty action-packed. So he might be gassed out a little bit. 2, the refs go the opposite direction. They got to pull back just a little bit. They can't let this guy go out there and continue to play favorites like Patrick Mahomes. 0-10. I don't know. They're also 0-15 against the spread. Coming off a win versus a conference opponent if they had 3 or more turnovers than the opponent. So they got lucky to get that W. And last but not least, the Sixers in the road favorite role versus a rested opponent that allowed less than 110 points in the previous meeting. 12-0-1. Last time they met, it was lower scoring. They kept the Sixers down. 12-0-1 in that road favorite role. Should be a Sixers play on spot. Regardless, Cade's in or out, it only makes it even better if he's out. But now this number's sitting, there's still a 4. There's still a 4. And like I said, it opened at 2.5. It's climbing. I see 5.5s now. My suspicion is that probably he doesn't play. I got a 4. I got a 4 at minus 111 to move us to this final game on the card. What say you guys? He's still wounded if he plays. Yeah, I agree. Maxi's point covers a lot, says Rick J. JT Miller, anytime goal. It's the juice in the money line. Sixers, I think they smashed too. I think they smashed as well. There you go. No play, but Thomas likes the Trey over PRA and Dame over assists. Okay. Man, I'm so mad at myself for that game last night. You know, I tailed some of the boys on that Golden State side of things, and even the total. And I said it before the game, too. I said, you know, the Schroeder, Wiggins news now, like they're not sure who's going to be that role player. And I thought I literally said out loud, that's going to mess up. Who's the guy that's going to start being the assist leader? Who's going to tote the rock? Who's going to set players up? And that means that they're all in flux trying to figure out what their roles are in the new look Golden State program. And yet still, I got talked into the +7. Responsible for our own bets, but man, that stunk. When I thought back on it, I was like, man, I literally was thinking back on, it's like, I knew that. Son of a bitch. Okay, last game for the early window. We'll see if some games can materialize for the later window. And that means that our silver and gold members will get some premium plays. I mentioned the Sixers game. Let's talk a little bit about this Heat and Nets game. And look, it's kind of similar to the strategy that we saw with Atlanta. We got those big totals on the board we want to go over. We got a low total on the board we want to go under. We do have some reverse line movement, though. 7.5 has moved to 5.5 for the Heat. 62% of the bets and 60% of the cash are on Miami. The totals moved from 209.5 to 210.5, with 75% of the bets and 74% of the cash on the over, on the Jover. It's not sexy. It is what it is. I'm just going to take the under in this game. Look, the Nets are 9-0 to the under as a dog of less than 16.5 points. We know that favorites correlate to the unders. When they're in the dog roll, they're probably not winning. The Heat have been out there busting teams up. Now, the Heat are also a win one, lose one squad, though. They beat Orlando. They lost to Cleveland. They beat the Spurs. They lost to Chicago. They beat the Sixers. What do they do against the Nets is the question, but I'll still take the shot here. When they're going under, it's literally 17 points a game, 16.8 points a game that they're going under. Bogdanovich is out. Ben Simmons is questionable. Melton out. Thomas out. Clowney out for the Nets. I don't know who's going to put the points on the board for them boys. I think they're just going to try their best to hang on, and I don't know that the Heat push tempo. In those games that they win, I mean, they put up 105 against the Spurs. They held the Spurs to 103. They put up 108 against Philly. They held the Sixers to 101. I think that they have an opportunity. Now, they lose to Chicago, 133-124. We were on Chicago in that game. And the thought process there was it's their last home game before they push off on the road. The Heat, with all the shit that was going on with the Jimmy Butler situation. But the Bulls have a defensive issue. And that's why we wanted to jump in there and take the total on the over. And I think in this case here, though, when you start looking at these games and how to expect it, yeah, I mean, there's no question the Heat should win this game. That, correlation. The Nets and the dog roll I mentioned that situation of 9-0 to the under when they're less than a 16.5 point favorite. In general, they're 19-26 to the under. It's home that they go under, 9-14 to the under. The Heat on the road are 12-15 to the under. I think it's a good spot for us to take a shot with this thing here. 210.5 be that number, and that be how we're going to shut her down. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this. Good action in. Get that action in. Fernando likes the Nets team total under. I think that's a great look. I do like that spot quite a bit. Thomas Matthew says no play, lean Nets. Okay. Yeah, I told you guys I got a big undercard here tonight. I thought the domination across every sport looked like just lower scoring. The books looked like they expected lower scoring. The public's getting out there. They're gassing up their sports book accounts for the weekend. They're going to want to try to make a couple of bets tonight with some of those deposit bonuses they get. And they're going to start looking for overs. And they're going to start taking a beating. Kind of like the Suns. Put that out there to put a little bow on the show here for you guys. OKC should certainly go out there and cover. This number's coming down, though. 8 p.m. start. You're going to want to wait just a little bit more. You might be able to catch this thing at 17, potentially, by the time that game pops off. So that's it, boys, girls. Good luck with your action. Thanks for checking us out. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button. And we'll see you guys back here in an hour and a half, 8:30. Get those bets in. Get ready to go. And let's make this money. Shout out to Gerald Jones. Coming that member, Trishka M499. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk more about the contest, the things that are going on here. We got a contest we entered for Sports Money Team to get out 10 grand in prizes for the player props that we'll talk about tonight. We're going to cover the polls. We're going to cover just some more logistics around how the Super Bowl square is going to work. Again, if you guys upgrade, plenty of room on the squares. Get out there, become a silver or gold member. And we appreciate you guys for supporting the channel. We've been running hot. Let's keep her going. Let's make this show catch a little fire on top of that. And appreciate, again, everybody for hanging out with us tonight. We'll see you at 9:30. Good luck with those bets.